What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another day of matches for the Call of Duty League Major 1 qualifiers. For the first matchup of the day, we're going to be having the Minnesota Rokkr versus the Vegas Legion. And if you like playing on DraftKings, if your state allows, as well as Prize Picks or other platforms where you can bet on fantasy and bet on props for Call of Duty League, definitely follow my channel. If you like the content, leave a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you'd like, share your input. I like talking about picks with lots of people. It's best to bounce around ideas when it comes to game day. That way we can see all aspects and see what picks we want to make and hopefully make some money today. So definitely stay tuned, and let's look at these lines today. I know that Minnesota Rokkr is going to be playing the Legion, who has not been looking good at all, and the line reflects that incredibly. Minus 210 for Minnesota Rokkr, heavy favorite towards a plus 162 Las Vegas Legion. I do think this is going to be a Rokkr win. Obviously, the last matchup that Legion played was against Atlanta FaZe, which is not no slouch. Obviously, we all know Vegas Legion is not in the same league as FaZe. As you guys seen, they just pretty much got blown out every matchup. They looked like they could have won the Embassy hardpoint. Temp was going off, but then as you can see here, search and destroy, they crumbled. Control, they crumbled. So it's not looking good for Vegas. This team has been the worst team year after year after year, and even now that they have Clayster and Temp and TJ Halley, three veterans of the game, it's crazy that they're still losing like this. So honestly, I feel like if they were going to beat a team, Minnesota Rokkr, a team where they are, underdogs to beat, this might be a team that they might beat. Honestly, Rokkr is just miles ahead of them. I don't see it happen. Maybe Vegas Legion takes them to a game 5, but I really doubt that they beat them. And the Minnesota Rokkr, as you guys can see, have been a very dominant team. They lost one match to the Florida Muneers. They lost one map, the hardpoint at Greenberg, but after that, they beat them in the search, they beat them in the control, and then they beat them in another hardpoint. Pretty much smacked them. On the Minnesota Rokkr side, we've been seeing Afro go absolutely crazy as of recent, and I've been telling you guys, him and Asim are one of the two players who are emerging, over everybody else in this specific title, Modern Warfare 2. They've both been excelling more than what people have expected. So look out for those players on these matchups. If we see here the DraftKings price tags, Afro is sitting at 12K for the captain. He's sitting at 8 for the flex position, and I believe they only bumped him up 200, which is crazy because I feel like this guy's gonna keep going off. He posted 123 fantasy points, 126 fantasy points against Florida last matchup. He was at 7,800. He's being bumped up 200. I would take this guy all day of the week at any position, captain or flex. Honestly, I would just fade everybody else that isn't Afro or Attach in this matchup. Attach is a little bit more expensive at 8,800, and obviously he's met expectation as well. So Minnesota's looking really good here against Vegas. I do think that Afro is going to be the one value play here. And if you want to be like super contrarian and you think that Vegas Legion is going to win, I would suggest Clayster at 7,400 would be the only pick that made sense. Obviously, he dropped a dud last matchup, 43 fantasy points, but he's the type of player where he does have a high ceiling, although I don't think it's likely. Temp dropped 64 fantasy points yesterday at an 8,800 price tag, so I would completely fade him here. Fade him because now he's more expensive going up against an, honestly, I would say equally hard team for Vegas. So fade all of Paris, fade the team line as well. Paris Legion at 2.6. I wouldn't touch that with the 5-foot pole. 3,600 for Minnesota Rokkr, and is honestly a good pick for team. As far as captain spots, I would say all of these guys on the Minnesota side with maybe the exception of Cammy. I mean, Cammy, yeah, he's posted 124 fantasy points against Florida last matchup too. He did good. Honestly, I take that back. He's had 83 kills in both of his last matches. That's actually pretty crazy. And yeah, I think Cammy's doing really good as well. So I would take Cammy. And if we head over to Prize Picks, I haven't looked through these picks as of yet. But if we scroll down to, let's see, we scroll down to Minnesota Rokkr. I don't see him for some reason. Let's go to the top. Attaches at a map 1 through 3, 49.5 line. Cammy's at a 48.5. I really want to take this 48.5, but man, I don't know. Obviously, if we look at this, if we look at Minnesota Rokkr's last matchup, what did Cammy end up with? I don't know if we could see his match stats here on the line. For the hard point, and they didn't update the lines. That's crazy. But yeah, Cammy, I mean, you saw there. He got 83 kills in the entire series, so I would take that over for him. I would take that over against Legion. I feel confident in that. If we go down, we see that we have more. Cammy map 1 at 22.5. It's going to be a little sweaty. Attach at 22.5 for map 1 against Legion. In this game, it's really hard for players to go over like that 22, 23 kill mark by the end of the first hardpoint game. You know, usually you don't see many people going to like 25, 26, 27. So it's a sweat, definitely. You know, trying to see who's going to be on top for that matchup. But yes, we see other lines here. The typical search and destroy line 7.1 or 7.0, 6.5 for the searches. That's pretty typical. And if we go to the game threes, I believe Cammy sitting at a 22.5. Same for attach. Usually these starting lines are usually all the same. But yeah, I do feel like Minnesota Rokkr is going to benefit from this matchup. I would say it's going to be a 3-1 victory over the Las Vegas Legion. Stay tuned for my next videos where I'm going to be breaking down the other matchups of the day today. We have 3 more matches, and I look forward to you in the next video. Thanks.